Okay, last bunch of guys for the flight deck. Okay.
Hello.
Come on in. Take a seat.
What an office this is, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you can have the front seat or that seat or. Just 3 of you, is it?
5 in total.
Oh, 5 in total.
Yeah.
Oh. Do you want the little lad to stand?
Yeah, can do.
Yeah. Where's the other 2? Are they just coming or?
No.
You've got the captain sat on the left-hand seat, co-pilot or second officer where I'm sat, and the flight engineer sat over there. And he's the busiest chap of the lot. With all the switches. Yeah, so he's kept busy all day. The 4th seat where you sat was just a spare. It could be used by sort of training captains, civil aviation authority people, or even passengers. You know, the days when passengers could come up and
Before 9/11.
before 9/11. Yeah, you know, we have a good authority. The Queen Mum used to come and sit up here with a gin and tonic. John Travolta was another regular visitor because he's a pilot.
Yeah.
So you'd come up and talk to the crews, and you know anybody could do that. Instrumentation, it's a bit all analogue. Looks quite old-fashioned now compared to modern aircraft, but there you go. You've got what they call the basic T. You've got the artificial horizon, the compass below it, the airspeed indicator and Mach meter over on the left-hand side, and the barometric and radio altimeters on the right-hand side. So you know how high. So you know how high you are, what speed you're going, and what direction you're going. And it's exactly the same this side, so you can fly it from either side, no problem. You can also taxi from either side. This handle here on the left, same as I've got on this side. You can taxi it with the, steer the nose wheel. The only thing you had to remember was your nose wheel is 35 feet behind you, so don't cut corners.
Right.
Otherwise, it could be a bit embarrassing putting the main gears on the grass. In the middle bit here, this is all the instrumentation for the autopilot, all the autopilot controls, and it's the same in every modern aircraft. They've gone on the same lines. In the centre here, the engine instrumentation. You've got 4 Rolls-Royce Olympus engines, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you've got at the top. You've got compressor speeds. Then you've got the fuel flow, EGT. That stands for exhaust gas temperature, so it's the temperature at the back of the engine. And then this area is the ducts at the back of the engine. When you go around the back, you'll see the ducts there and the areas. You've got a lever here. A unique feature on this aircraft is its nose visor, nose cone. It goes up and down, as you're probably aware. In this position, this is standard cruise, where the visor is there purely for aerodynamic reasons, nothing else. Keeps the flight deck a bit quieter, because obviously at this angle, you're going to, you need to keep.
So how far does it drop?
Well, the visor just actually translates forward into the. That's the first. So the first position you put it down, the visor will go forward and hide in the front of the in the nose cone.
Okay. Okay.
Next position, it will go down to 5 degrees. That's for taxi and takeoff. So he's got a better vision taxiing around the aircraft, etc., around the airport. And then the final position goes down to 12.5 degrees, and that's for coming into land. Because he comes into land at 14 degrees.
Wow.
He's coming down a 3-degree glide slope, so it's effectively 11 degrees.
What kind of angle is it?
It comes in fairly flat, a standard one, maybe 1 or 2 degrees, but then you've got slats and flaps. You don't have slats and flaps on this aircraft, so your speed range, you've got to do it by angle of attack. So it's a very, very efficient wing. The lever below it, that's for the undercarriage. You've got 4 wheels on this aircraft, nose, 2 mains, and you've got 1 at the back. Why 1 at the back? Because there's a fuel tank at the back. And if you bang the tail, you could have a fuel leak and a fire. And they have the fuel tank there because that's one of the main jobs of the flight engineer, balance the aircraft. You haven't got a tailplane on this aircraft, so how do you balance it? And they do it by moving fuel from the centre to the rear. And in that, see that's the centre of gravity indicator. So the flight engineer spends a lot of his time moving fuel from the front to the back and vice versa to keep the aircraft balanced.
Just scanning the others,
Another thing you had to do was the intakes. A jet engine won't take air at supersonic speed, so you have to reduce it to subsonic speed. So you're going at 1,350 miles an hour, you've got to reduce it to about 350 miles an hour in 11 feet. So that's 1,000 miles per hour in 11 feet. And they do it by creating a shock wave. Ramps come down, creates a shock wave. The shock wave, velocity decreases, pressure increases, so you get a win-win situation. You reduce the speed, and you also, it's like having a turbo compressor on your car. You got a supercharger on your car, so going supersonic actually reduces the
You know the sonic boom, would you hear and feel that.
Not here, you would underground.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that's the thing, because it goes on the ground, it comes like a double bang,
Yes.
and it can be quite serious. That's
See
why
the photographs of the.
it was banned from flying on overland at
Overland,
supersonic
yeah.
speeds. That's what really, one of the things that killed the aircraft in many ways, because you could only fly over water. Shame really, but you know.
Why are the legs on the plane so long? Why is the body of the plane
Because
so
of the angle you're coming in at.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Okay,
Because
so
it-
the way to the
and
back
they had
tail doesn't-
again, they had in design, they had an awful lot of vibration problems because it's so high. You're off the ground. The nose leg is very high, so you get a lot of. When you're going at 200 miles an hour, you get an awful lot of vibration. So, you know, in the development of the aircraft, they had an awful lot of problems in sorting that out. Yeah. The other thing it does, it expands. Final to bit by 4 to 5 inches. So if you look back, yeah.
Was there somebody trapped, or was it just a story? They got the uniform or something?
Oh, well, what they do, see there, you can actually see it there. Let's see on this picture. It's right up close now, isn't it?
What, and you can't
This?
Yeah, you can't put your hand there, can you?
Well, no. There's a little bit of a gap there, but not much.
on the photo,
So on the photograph you can, and if I show you the other photograph, I'll show you. I'll show you the next
you can't get your
photograph.
fingers down.
They put the hat in there. That was their sort of
Oh.
party piece, was to put the hat in.
So that.
So that's the expansion.
Yeah, the
chamber.
expansion, 4
So
to 5
that's
inches in
to
flight.
50,000 feet.
Amazing.
Yeah, so sorry.
That's at
60,000
higher,
feet, yeah. So you expands by 4 to 5 inches, and then of course when you come back down again, it contracts. I mean, from an engineering point of view, it caused quite a few fuel leaks and things like this. It has to be a special paint on the aircraft, but stretches. Metals, it's made of, as John's probably told you, an alloy called hydrominium, a very special alloy. But if you got to, there's a temperature sensor on the nose. If you got to 127 degrees centigrade, you had to throttle back. Otherwise, you could affect the strength of the alloys.
Amazing.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, these are like sandwich windows. They're like a glass and then a membrane and glass. Unfortunately, it's like you're double glazing at home. You can get moisture in it, and sometimes they get moisture in it. And I've read, pilots saying they can actually see when they're going supersonic. It actually boils, the water, the moisture boils because it's getting so hot, yeah.
Could it jettison, if it had problems and it took off, this is probably too special, I don't know. My son flies 737s and he says you can't...
a small aircraft you can't jettison.
eject fuel from it, but this you could.
Yeah, you could jettison. I don't know, there's switches here for jettison, yeah. You can jettison as
Well,
well.
737s have to use it up, don't they?
You stooge round, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of 75s you can't either. Some of the bigger ones you can jettison fuel.
yeah.
But you can't on some of the smaller ones.
How many tons of fuel would it have had on? at
This
the
was
beginning of the
26,000 gallons of fuel. So whatever that is in tons.
Because you couldn't trim this without the fuel, so you'd be in
No,
a catch-22, wouldn't you? You
Yeah,
couldn't jettison it because you couldn't trim it.
that's right. The trim. Yeah, you trim in with the fuel. Yeah.
Right.
But what you can do, what they do a lot of times, is your son's probably told you can do overweight landings.
Yes,
If you've got a
yes.
runway long enough, you do an overweight
Yes,
landing.
yes, that's right,
Then the
yeah.
engineers have to do an overweight landing check. Yeah. You come in a bit faster, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a bit dodgier. So who does he fly for?
Thompson's, first officer Thompson.
Oh really?
David Henshaw, yeah.
Oh right. I used to work for Cookies and My Travel and all this, like Freddie Laker in my time.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Hey, proper chaps.
Yes. So I've been with a few Air Europe.
Yeah.
Well,
I want-
50 years an engineer, so I've got a lot of friends actually flew for Thompsons. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I was on Saturday.
Dave, who's this captain who's, I forget his name now, Dave Moorcroft or Mancroft or something. He does quite a bit. He taught David, he learned through the Thompson's school.
Oh yeah.
Flying, didn't
They're
he?
a good company to work for. A friend of mine,
Very good.
he's the first officer on the 787. Yeah. The plastic pig he calls it.
Is that the Dreamliner?
Dreamliner, yeah.
Dreamliner.
It's called the
Everything's a bit bigger, isn't it? And more leg room is supposed to be.
Well, I don't know how much, I mean, I think the advertisements are...
It's just a word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dreamliner,
Basically, it's a Dreamliner for the accountants because it's made of it's made of composite materials, so it's a lot lighter than other aircraft, so it doesn't burn as much fuel. So from an accountant's point of view, it's brilliant. And that's why it's called it. It is, I mean, it's good for the passengers because you pressurise the aircraft. Normally they're about 8,000 feet, equivalent of 8,000 feet. That's why you get drunker quicker. This is the 8 Dreamliners at 6,000 feet lower, so it's higher pressure. Plus the fact it's got humidifiers on it, so as he said, you know, when he flew the 75, 76, his hands used to get sort of crinkly skin. With the Dreamliner, he doesn't.
I forget his name. He does quite a bit.